to say is I'm continuing this next part about the painting. Again, till 2019, late 2019, did I go, okay, I'll see what the deal is. I'll spend some time. Because I bought the Joseph Smith Papers books. I'm like, oh, they think it was David Rogers? Everyone says it was William Major. Every blog, even these brand new blogs I saw show up recently. Well, it was William Major because I read William B. McCarl's article, and I mean, that's fine and good, but he's just wrong. Because he didn't have access to LDS newspaper. Not that he's stupid or that you're stupid. Where is William B. McCarl coming in? Now we're going to talk about William B. McCarl confusion. The blogs do state, oh, well, you know, it's a photograph of the man. Charles Carter was bold claims in his drawings. That's where you really see him writing, oh, it's a daguerreotype of Joseph Smith, copied from the daguerreotype of Joseph Smith. So if he's looking at the daguerreotype and drawing something, but why would he do that if he's already copied it? Maybe because he knew it looked like crap, and he's like, oh, I'd see the real photo of him. Some things I do find interesting. Some of these drawings, I do see the ears sticking out and looking a little bit bigger than in his Carter's. Cut off the ears. His son just completely cut the ears off. All the sons had big ears that stuck out, by the way. As I said in the last video, I do believe that his son looked at the daguerreotype and preserved the 1842 painting done when his dad was 36 years old, done by an artist from New York. That'd be 2 years before Lucian Foster could have done the daguerreotype. His father, he says Lucian Foster, he thinks, took it. So, Carter. Photograph of a painting. I wouldn't say he's lying if he's looking at the daguerreotype and copying drawing. Okay. I can buy that, as I explain here. But Junior Wells, bringing him up again, he says it's David Rogers. That is what makes the most sense from everything Joseph Smith. So Joseph Smith III and Junior Wells do agree. The painting's from life. It would have been done when his dad was 36, an artist from New York. The only difference is missing Joseph Smith III does not say David Rogers, the name. But just even those three facts debunks that it's William Major. Okay. Daguerreotypes of the painting do exist today. You can find those online. That's probably what they're talking about. Copying process in 1860 to create the carte de visite is my theory, as I showed that picture. This is an 1860 carte de visite that I have. I think it, in theory, could have been 19 years done before Joseph Smith owned the daguerreotype because his mom had died. He could have borrowed it, is my theory, and gave it back. And then in 19 years, it could have oxidized, possibly. This is so dark that every time they photographed it, it upped the contrast. When you up the contrast, things get darker. So if you criticize the hair being too dark, like Godwin Weaver's already said, the contrast is upped. So the hair would have been lighter in the original daguerreotype that is copied from, I believe, is of Joseph Smith. So to some scholars, Junior Wells' quote means that, there's never been a photograph of Joseph Smith. And so Joseph Smith III must have mentioned the daguerreotype of his dad to Carter. That's what I do believe. Okay. This is me speaking. As he was in Salt Lake City in 1885, he says something like, I may have had some photos taken. Like, he's a little, like, it's obvious. He's, like, being really vague. Because I think they did want people to think it was a photo. They wanted to make it look really good, and so they could both make money. Sorry. Happens. But I don't think he could photograph this and get a good quality image that was sellable. Or he just would have been made fun of. I mean, I don't think either men are lying. Okay, I'm not going that far. Anyway. So going on, I think it just would have gotten a lot darker. He couldn't copy it again 19 years later is what I think. And I think like his Aunt Lucy kept visiting her as he still lived in Nauvoo, going to Kendall County. He went to Kendall County in 1860, going back to Nauvoo. he stayed the night at Lucy Milliken's house, Joseph Smith's youngest sister. Who that is. She didn't go to Utah by 1879, so Emma, she passed away. So here's the evidence here. So all these details you can just find. So April 1879, 30th of April, which is when she died. And I think when my first website and video came out, this used to say Lucy and Foster, and then they literally took it off the next day. Because someone wasn't being very nice to me, the Joseph Smith papers. But, that's why it took me a while to see, well, why do they think it's David Rogers? I just went with the person I was talking to, and I've just confused some of the people I've been working with. And I'm like, I don't know why they think it was David Rogers. It took me a while to care enough to find out why. Just interesting, if ironic timing when things change on this website. Now, I don't think people lie. It used to say Lucy and Foster did this photograph on here. But the person who owns this right now told me he thinks it's Lucy and Foster. That he's one of the most famous people of owning LDS artifacts from church history. So, but they say 1845. He was born November 1844, this baby. So he's still relatively a baby. He's not quite a toddler yet. So saints are still in Nauvoo, and there just wasn't talk of any other photographer being in town. And she kind of did leave at some point, but not until he was bigger than this, though. Okay, so she was still in Nauvoo at this point. Their baby was that size. So anyway, April 1879. July, sending it to Library of Congress. August, he's selling photos in, I would say, his newspaper. It is his newspaper, St. Herald. So, but as you look at that picture, the background looks similar to my picture. And her real daguerreotype is just as darkened as this right now. I just couldn't copy it again. Just couldn't. And so you can click on here and see I have a video where you can watch and go through and just see me superimposing that outline in the painting onto here. See, the eyes are a little too close together there. This is the one that went to Library of Congress, but then here's Carter's. It's like, this doesn't match the death mask well at all. But I mean, the mouth, just everything, it's a photo of the painting. This is the outline of the painting. Just the hair is slightly off, and there's so many paintings of the painting. And they could have tried to do it exact as possible, and I think that was the intent. But for me, I was just like, I'll just see. And I don't do Kim Marshall, but Kim Marshall's, I will tell you, I don't do it in the video out of respect for her. But it really matches perfectly with Carter's, and that's what another person said in the news. It's a photo of the painting. And that's what all scholars basically been saying. So to me, it was like it's a non-issue, but it is important to figure out what's going on. What's going on here? So where did this all come from? This video is already too long. William B. McCarl pursues the theory that forward-facing painting was used not to sustain the painting, but to base it. He says it's conclusive that this is base. It's on page 46. I'm going to go ahead and go there. It's William B. McCarl that says major. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to make you dizzy, make me dizzy. You can make the effort and click on this and go to page 46 too. But in my other video, I explain, you'll see here as I'm just scrolling on, I'll explain here. So we get to 46, that we can't just quickly go there, I'm sorry. But this William Major thing all comes to what ring? He decides it's based on a daguerreotype because the ring, Joseph Smith III, in that letter states my dad didn't wear a ring on his right hand, he wore it on the left. Okay, so he's going through his father's rings, talking about his ring, and he's just thinking, this person writing this is just, it's just a theory. Makes me wonder, this is William B. McCarl writing, such detail, and then he goes into this theory, how Emma must have complained about this, if she was copied, because we start anyway going on, talking about ring being on the wrong hand. It can be seen that several logical explanations exist for Joseph Smith III's comment about the ring hand. Explain why the portrait shows the ring bone on his father's right hand. It seems conclusive. The daguerreotype, which in juxtaposition, because it's in flipped, it's like Instagram now, or looking in the mirror. Juxtaposition of the sides would serve as the basis of the front view painting. So then it was on the left hand. So that makes it conclusive. That's where it all comes from. And then he dives into William Major and this quote from a church newspaper that came out after everyone was dead that knew Joseph Smith when he was alive. Anyway, but there it is. Page 46. That's where it comes from. Okay, but you can watch this video of me. And this isn't really a super short video, but you can just see I'm talking about, okay, there it is on the right hand. I talk about Junie Wells in this video. I kind of go over all the things like I do today. Here's the painting he's criticizing. Ring on the right hand, but it's just the same as his own painting. So, moving on, all you have to do is look at Maudsley's artwork. It's just one I'm going to spoil here, but you can just watch this whole video and see. Here's a painting by Maudsley, and I'm going to zoom in here. And the ring's on the right hand. Rings on the right hand. And those aren't based on a daguerreotype. That's a ring on Joseph Smith's right hand. So the whole saying it's based on a daguerreotype, the whole painting wasn't done when he was alive, makes no sense. And William B. McCarl just did a lot of ellipses and just didn't have the RLDS newspaper. He just didn't have it, where it states the artist is from New York, debunks William Major, and my dad was 36. So he was alive. He didn't die till he's 38. So Junie Wells was just wrong, but I think it just had more to do just not having access. And then the scholars today sent Kim Marshall as a reason why they don't agree with her, which is the same reasons I don't agree with her. Other than my artistic analysis, there's just no way, it matches the painting perfectly. And again, going back to Junie Wells, he's quoting Emma and saying it's a pretty good likeness of Silly Boy, but, well, this is Joseph Smith actually saying, but not much like a prophet Lord. So he's saying that painting doesn't really look like me. I look like a silly boy. I look younger. And then, so this is the juvenile instructor, February 1830. This is, he responds anytime someone posts something in the news that's wrong. And that's what happened because someone posted it was William Major around this time, 1930. He lives quite a long time, Junie Wells. He's like, people. Anyway, he's stating, it was David Rogers, it wasn't William Major. Says it again. Record relating to the painting, which was hung in the Mansion House, the Nauvoo House, possessions of widow's prophet Emma Smith. Upon visiting, and this is where he gets specific, it's not until later he says, I visited her in 1875-76. She entertained me very hospitably. So a couple of decades before this, he's working with the first presidency. He's not an idiot. He's not a dishonest person. Was securing church history sites. Junie Wells is a good guy. Okay. Show me the painting. In her Nauvoo house, asked her if it was a good likeness of prophets. She replied, no. Something that perfectly matches it that you think is a photograph of him. It's like, I'm sorry, people. He could not have a good portrait taken. His countenance was changing all the time, and the nose doesn't match. Leona, 1909. This portrait is a drawing from the daguerreotype, purported to be taken from an oil painting of the prophet Joseph Smith during his lifetime by David Rogers. It's just these are too many sources saying David Rogers, so it's from life. He spent 4 days sitting there as David Rogers painted him. Lucian Foster showed up a couple of years later, so if that daguerreotype that is probably this dark, Joseph Smith III is repainting over this painting, but not creating a new painting. He's sustaining it, kind of like preserving it. Sustain, preserve, sustain. It already exists. But maybe taking some liberties, maybe adding some hair. But again, looking at this, you don't really see a receding hairline, because where I showed you where there's some stragglers, that all just looks like a solid hairline. That could just be a high forehead, okay? So, implied they might have totally changed his hair. I think they do, and I think they all hated their big ears. Like, I hate my big ears that stick out. And no, the ears aren't the same on each side. Church history person, not to be totally contentious. I could take a photo of my ears. One of my ears is closer to my head, the other one sticks out more. So, boom, you're wrong. I'm not angry. I'm just saying, you are wrong. Because they in one of their emails, they're like, there's no way one ear would stick out more. That's just like not possible. And because I was saying it looked like one ear stuck out more than one. I'm an example of that. Okay. So I'm like the word anyway. Characteristic likeness is what he said in like 1910 letter. Implies the painting does not exactly perfectly match his father's face, let alone the daguerreotype, where the daguerreotype look exactly like the painting. That isn't a very good likeness of the prophet. End this video now, and I'll do a new one. This one was longer just because it's a headache. But you know, people I've been talking to and I've interrogated, they've interrogated me. Yeah, it's important because it's in every blog and people talk about it and it sounds so solid, and it's because of William B. McCarl. That's my game. Have a good day.